1번. 밑줄 친 immediate diet가 다음, 그래서 의미하는 바로 가장 적절한 것은?
The most dangerous threat to our ability to concentrate is not that we use our smartphone during working hours, but that we use it too irregularly, by checking our emails every now and then, on the computer and our text messages here and there on our phone. With no particular schedule or rhythm in mind, our brain loses its ability to effectively filter. The solution is to regulate your devices as if you were on a strict diet. When it comes to nutrition, sticking to a fixed time plan for breakfast, lunch, and dinner allows your metabolism to adjust, thereby causing less hunger during the in-between phases. Your belly will start to rumble around 12:30 p.m. each day, but that's okay because that's a good time to eat lunch. If something unexpected happens, you can add a snack every now and then to get fresh energy. But your metabolism will remain under control. It's the same with our brain when you put it on a media diet.
2번. 밑줄 친 fish is fish style assimilation이 다음, 그래서 의미하는 바로 가장 적절한 것은? 3점.
Studies by Vosniado and Brewer illustrate fish is fish style assimilation in the context of young children's thinking about the earth. They worked with children who believed that the earth is flat, because this fit their experiences and attempted to help them understand that, in fact, it is spherical. When told it is round, children often pictured the earth as a pancake, rather than as a sphere. If they were then told that it is round like a sphere, they interpreted the new information about a spherical earth within their flat earth view, by picturing a pancake-like flat surface inside, or on top of a sphere, with humans standing on top of the pancake. The model of the earth that they had developed, and that helped them explain how they could stand or walk upon its surface, did not fit the model of a spherical earth, like the story Fish is Fish, where a fish imagines everything on land to be fish-like. Everything the children heard was incorporated into their pre-existing views.
3번. 밑줄 친 bringing together contradictory characteristics가 다음, 그래서 의미하는 바로 가장 적절한 것은?
The creative team exhibits paradoxical characteristics. It shows tendencies of thought and action that we'd assume to be mutually exclusive or contradictory. For example, to do its best work, a team needs deep knowledge of subjects relevant to the problem it's trying to solve, and a mastery of the processes involved. But at the same time, the team needs fresh perspectives that are unencumbered by the prevailing wisdom or established ways of doing things. Often called a beginner's mind, this is the newcomer's perspective, people who are curious, even playful, and willing to ask anything, no matter how naive the question may seem, because they don't know what they don't know. Thus, bringing together contradictory characteristics can accelerate the process of new ideas.
4번. 밑줄 친 the innocent messenger who falls before a firing line.
Diem gulezeo uimi hanun balo gajang jayajol han geosun? 3 jam. Perhaps worse than attempting to get the bad news out of the way is attempting to soften it or simply not address it at all. This mum effect, a term coined by psychologists Sidney Rosen and Abraham Tesser in the early 1970s, happens because people want to avoid becoming the target of others' negative emotions. We all have the opportunity to lead change, yet it often requires of us the courage to deliver bad news to our superiors. We don't want to be the innocent messenger who falls before a firing line. When our survival instincts kick in, they can override our courage until the truth of a situation gets watered down. The mum effect and the resulting filtering can have devastating effects in a steep hierarchy, writes Robert Sutton, an organizational psychologist. What starts out as bad news becomes happier and happier as it travels up the ranks, because after each boss hears the news from his or her subordinates, he or she makes it sound a bit less bad before passing it up the chain.
5번. 밑줄 친 the omnivore's paradox가 다음, 그래서 의미하는 바로 가장 적절한 것은?
Humans are omnivorous, meaning that they can consume and digest a wide selection of plants and animals found in their surroundings. The primary advantage to this is that they can adapt to nearly all earthly environments. The disadvantage is that no single food provides the nutrition necessary for survival. Humans must be flexible enough to eat a variety of items, sufficient for physical growth and maintenance, yet cautious enough not to randomly ingest foods that are physiologically harmful and, possibly, fatal. This dilemma, the need to experiment, combined with the need for conservatism, is known as the omnivore's paradox. It results in two contradictory psychological impulses regarding diet. The first is an attraction to new foods. The second is a preference for familiar foods.
6번. 밑줄 친 트레이닝 for a marathon이 다음 그래서 의미하는 바로 가장 적절한 것은 3점.
The known fact of contingencies, without knowing precisely what those contingencies will be, shows that disaster preparation is not the same thing as disaster rehearsal, no matter how many mock disasters are staged. According to prior plans, the real disaster will never mirror any one of them. Disaster preparation planning is more like training for a marathon than training for a high jump competition or a sprinting event. Marathon runners do not practice by running the full course of 26 miles rather. They get into shape by running shorter distances and building up their endurance with cross-training. If they have prepared successfully, then they are in optimal condition to run the marathon over its predetermined course and length, assuming a range of weather conditions, predicted or not. This is normal marathon preparation.
7번. 밑줄 친 give away the house가 다음 그래서 의미하는 바로 가장 적절한 것은 3점.
For companies interested in delighting customers, exceptional value and service become part of the overall company culture. For example, year after year, Pisano ranks at or near the top of the hospitality industry. In terms of customer satisfaction, the company's passion for satisfying customers is summed up in its credo, which promises that its luxury hotels will deliver a truly memorable experience. Although a customer-centered firm seeks to deliver high customer satisfaction relative to competitors, it does not attempt to maximize customer satisfaction. A company can always increase customer satisfaction by lowering its price or increasing its services, but this may result in lower profits. Thus, the purpose of marketing is to generate customer value profitably. This requires a very delicate balance. The marketer must continue to generate more customer value and satisfaction, but not give away the house.
8번. 밑줄 친 turns the life stories of these scientists from lead to goal가 다음 글에서 의미하는 바로 가장 적절한 것은 3점.
In school, there's one curriculum, one right way to study science, and one right formula that spits out the correct answer on a standardized test. Textbooks with grand titles like The Principles of Physics magically reveal the principles in 300 pages. An authority figure then steps up to the lectern to feed us the truth. As theoretical physicist David Gross explained in his Nobel lecture, textbooks often ignore the many alternate paths that people wandered down, the many false clues they followed, the many misconceptions they had. We learn about Newton's laws as if they arrived by a grand divine visitation or a stroke of genius, but not the years he spent exploring, revising, and changing them. The laws that Newton failed to establish, most notably his experiments in alchemy, which attempted, and spectacularly failed, to turn lead into gold, don't make the cut as part of the one-dimensional story told in physics classrooms. Instead, our education system turns the life stories of these scientists from lead to gold.
9번. 밑줄 친 the silent killers가 다음 그래서 의미하는 바로 가장 적절한 것은
Author Elizabeth Gilbert tells the fable of a great saint who would lead his followers in meditation. Just as the followers were dropping into their Zen moment, they would be disrupted by a cat that would walk through the temple meowing and bothering everyone. The saint came up with a simple solution. He began to tie the cat to a pole during meditation sessions. This solution quickly developed into a ritual tie. The cat to the pole first, meditate second. When the cat eventually died of natural causes, a religious crisis followed. What were the followers supposed to do? How could they possibly meditate without tying the cat to the pole? This story illustrates what I call invisible rules. These are habits and behaviors that have unnecessarily rigidified into rules. Although written rules can be resistant to change, invisible ones are more stubborn. They're the silent killers.
10번. 밑줄 친 the democratization of business financing이 다음 그래서 의미하는 바로 가장 적절한 것은
Crowdfunding is a new and more collaborative way to secure funding for projects. It can be used in different ways, such as requesting donations for a worthy cause anywhere in the world and generating funding for a project with the contributors, then becoming partners in the project. In essence, crowdfunding is the fusion of social networking and venture capitalism, in just the same way as social networks have rewritten the conventional rules about how people communicate and interact with each other. Crowdfunding in all its variations has the potential to rewrite the rules on how businesses and other projects get funded in the future. Crowdfunding can be viewed as the democratization of business financing. Instead of restricting capital sourcing and allocation to a relatively small and fixed minority, crowdfunding empowers everyone connected to the internet to access both the collective wisdom and the pocket money of everyone else who connects to the internet.